So what happened to you on American Idol?
Oh man, this is amazing. Yeah. I've always been of the opinion that it is the responsibility of the artist to be the sort of idealized definition of the intellectual.
My feeling is that should be everybody's aspiration, and some people have better opportunities than others. If you have artistic talent, then I don't happen to have so many, and you have opportunities that I don't have.
But artistic talent seems to be something that is not necessarily easily defined.
It's not easily defined, but it's the kind of thing you can tell when you see it.
Okay. Well, I'll go with that.
Then go back to the Bible. There were people who we would call intellectuals. The term was used as prophets. Misleading translation of some obscure term. But if you think of what they did, it's what we call, what we describe as intellectual work. They were critical of the deeds, of the actions of the power system, of the kings, of the priests, and so on. They did geopolitical analysis. They argued that the actions of the kings were going to bring destruction to the people of Israel. They called for mercy and justice for widows and orphans and people needed. That's intellectual. They were not nicely treated. They were imprisoned, mocked, driven into the desert, one of them was crucified. Christian prophet. There were people who were called, who were well treated, and they're the ones who long afterwards are called false prophets. But they were flatterers of the court, and they were the ones who did fine. And it goes that way right up to the present.
Something which I have been looking into is reality television, which is a very popular form of entertainment.
The number of hours TV watching is astonishing.
It's pretty astonishing, it's true. And I don't know how much longer it's going to last for with regard to the internet.
Internet have any effect on that?
Well, I think that people spend more time on the internet now, yeah. I think that, and they also watch TV on the internet.
So is that something you can do and cut the ads?
Well, yeah, but the problem with TV on the internet is that it goes back to this problem with reality TV, which is that people see the internet as this thing that gives you ontological truth. It gives you truth about absolute everything. It gives you truth about your body. It gives you truth about everything. And then if they're looking at the TV,
I see a different aspect of it. It's an incredible cult generator. Somebody puts something up and some of the crazy things. Somebody thinks, maybe you recently have an international cult.
Sure, absolutely.
And there have actually been some studies which show that people believe what they see on the internet more than what they read from newspapers. I thought it was surprising.
There's this concept of indefinite authorship. Who is this person who put this thing on the internet? And if you think about everything else in our society that had this indefinite authorship, the Bible, Plato's Republic, all these things that people just take as real knowledge.
Interesting, at least in the world of more or less elite journalism, there had been a practice of anonymity. In Hunter supplement, New Yorker, and so on, they ended up because people didn't like it. They want to know who's responsible for this. So over the years, almost all the journalists have turned to signed authorship. Not all. One that economists have.
But the problem with signed authorship is that it doesn't allow for the individual to really identify with it as much as when no one knows who authored it.
I know that just myself, I don't like to read unidentified articles. You have no exactly, you have no If you know who the person is, there's some way of evaluating how reliable it is or what background it's coming from or what device it's on.
But sometimes you read something that has no definite author without even realizing it. Like you walk down the street and you see something graffiti to the wall. Do you feel it came from an individual when you see graffiti?
I think that it came from a certain social and cultural class. Okay. My friends don't put up graffiti.
And if someone were to hand you a book that was, no one knows who wrote it, but it came from a certain cultural class, or it came from a certain tribe.
It would be interesting, but it wouldn't help with further reliability.
Well, I think reliability is just sort of out the window.
Well, that's why if it's a folk tale, it doesn't matter. But if it's
Right.
a work of history, it doesn't matter. There's nothing to do.
Definitely. But the internet works on that principle of folktale.
That's kind of an interesting question to me, is why does it carry conviction?
But if it's a folktale of your people, then you have the idea that you are a participant in it.
Because then you sort of share the background.
Right.
So
And you're also a participant in the internet.
that's weird. Well, it's like when a friend gives you advice rather than somebody you've heard of.
Right. I think that there's this TV show, American Idol. Are you familiar with this at all?
And I know that it exists, but only because of commentary about it.
Well, it's the most popular
Yeah.
reality television show.
Now is that a reality television? Isn't that a show where people come standing?
Well, it's confusing, but it is reality television, yeah, definitely. It claims to be this king-making program, bringing people out of the masses and up into society. However, it is only once they have been given $1 million and entered into the ruling class that their original music or voice is promoted through the industry. They've got this tribunal of judges who are presented as the ultimate arbiters of what is good and what is bad. And their interests are in preserving a canon, and in that canon are members of the ruling class who are continuing to collect royalties off their music. Basically, my argument is that the falsehood needs to be exposed. For there is actually too much at stake, which is the enjoyment of music. Everyone's enjoyment of music is basically at stake, especially if there are these people who are the arbiters of what's good and bad. And those are the ones who you're supposed to be identifying with.
Are these judges independent from, say, recording companies?
Are they independent? Oh, no.
No.
Of course not.
They're like agents of the recording company.
Basically.
How do you distinguish it from pure entertainment? People seem to be having fun.
I think that it should not be disregarded, even though it should be seen as
I think it's
entertainment.
designed to have an effect on the public.
Yeah, this is reality television.
It's reality just because it's not set script and print actors.
No, I think that it's supposed to be a window into reality. It's realism because it's also showing you different classes and different things that otherwise would not be shown on TV. And giving you the idea that you are the one who's selecting.
So democratic participation.
Yeah, totally.
If there's any audience participation in making decisions.
The audience only participates once it has been winnowed down to a select few.
And then the audience selects.
Right. And it's complicated because through the seemingly benign premise of karaoke, they are, in my opinion, doing nothing but repressing the individual artistic drives of the viewers who are actually drawn to the program due to desires to participate, meaning that they want to sing as well. They want to sing, express themselves artistically, and cannot.
So they're getting a vicarious experience of being
That's right. Further, the audience is manipulated into believing that what they are watching is really a course, reality, because it's reality television, which, you know, it isn't. So then there's this whole other level of thing, which is amazing in a way.
So constructing a kind of a fantasy world in which they enter.
Yeah. Do you think that it's important for people to oppose that kind of thing?
If it can be opposed by helping people understand that there's a different way to live, picture yourself, fulfill yourself, sure. Doesn't sound very deep.
No. This is amazing. This is like one of my... Oh man, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Thank you. I just added, you know, thank you very, very much.
Just as a matter of fact, the people who are selected survive.
No, it's very transient because it's all reflected back on the larger institution, which is the television program.
So once these people perform, get their...
Right, because they're known as the winner of American Idol.
But then they're finished.
Well, yeah, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because I think that it might be healthy for society to have a constant state of regeneration.
Does it lead to enduring interest?
Well, more than obscurity would. That's for sure. Yeah. So, I was on the television show American Idol, and I did this thing. Do you mind if I show you this really quick? Okay, cool.
Learn about the world. My granddaughter has one that's small, I think that's the only one.
It's cool, man.
She was showing it off to me.
Alright, now this has got to start the fire up for a second. But, hey, by the way, thank you very much for your time. This is really great.
So what happened to you on American Idol?
There was a lot of people saying that I had Asperger's syndrome,
Really?
and they called me the most arrogant. Oh, well, I just showed up and I said, you know, I was just sort of rude to the judges, and they were very rude to the contestants. So I felt like that was the right way to be, and then they threw me out for being rude. You can't upset a power structure. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, let me show you the clip really quickly here.
This is from the television.
This was this was prime time.
But anyway, it's
Okay.
in the public domain.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was me. Well, alright.
The only time I've ever gotten to see anything like it is I happened to be in the hospital recovering from surgery a couple of years ago, and I was in a double room. The next bed was a teenage kid who was fine, but he'd broken all the legs and skiing accident. I did one television set in the room. He had it on practically 24 hours a day. And we had on all the time was a program in which the same thing kept happening over and over. And I could not figure out what he or anyone else saw it. Why do people...
What are they on?
Humiliating themselves constantly, and why does anybody watch it?
And do you think that is good for society?
It's horrible, but people want to do it, you can't stop.
Yeah. Alright, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Alright. No, it was totally helpful. It was amazing. I can't even believe it. Well,
In the 60s, with the House Un-American Activities Committee, somebody too young to remember, but it had been people terrified of it until the 60s when Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin and all the other guys who were quite talented were called, and they refused to take it seriously. It was ridiculed. They just laughed. Nobody paid attention to it.
well,
Ugly. I don't know what more to say about it.
yeah.
I mean, evidently it has appeal because it was on primetime television constantly.
Definitely has appeal. But if it's on primetime television, wouldn't that be, couldn't you put anything on primetime television?
They can get
Because
advertised paper.
that's true.
And I presume the advertisers don't pay for it unless they think they're going to make money out of it.
People are going to watch the advertisements anyway, because it's just on primetime. But I mean, maybe that's a little bit of a,
Well, but, they gotta, they have to keep the, somebody who works in television was explaining to me how this works. So I'm sure you know better than me. But he said there's a concept on television of content and fill. The content is the ads. The fill is the car chase that we have to keep the audience watching until the next series of ads come. And they sort of pull the fill off the shelf and they see what's after.
but these are all things about stimulation. I think that at this point, at least people of my generation, if something's on primetime television, it's there.
That just makes it important.
It's a, yeah, of course. So, all right. Well, man, this is amazing.
Corner of the world that I don't know anything about.
All right, well, All right, okay, thanks a lot.